Hi everybody, TJ Mack Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here, and today I'm doing episode 7 of my AFL case build. This is an ongoing series where I'm putting together a 30-card case featuring players from the American Football League, which existed from 1960 to 1969 before merging with the NFL at the start of the 1970 season. Now, in previous episodes, I featured Lance Allworth, the greatest player in my view in the AFL. This is 1963 Flair rookie card. Episode 2, we looked at Rich Tombstone Jackson and Daryl the Mad Bomber LaMonica. Episode 3 featured Billy Groman, who had a short but impactful career in the AFL. This is a 61 Topps rookie card. Then in episode 4, we looked at Tobin Rote, the only quarterback to win an AFL and NFL championship. He also starred in the CFL. And then you have next to him the rookie card of Buck Buchanan. In episode 5, we looked at the dynamic duo of Art Powell and Don Maynard, both stars with the New York Titans, which later became the New York Jets. And then in the last episode, we looked at Willie Lanier and Charlie Hennigan. Lanier was the first black middle linebacker in NFL history, which was like the quarterback of the defense. And then you had Charlie Hennigan, who at one time had the single season record for most receptions in a year, as well as most receiving yards. And he did it in 2 different seasons. Today in episode 7, we're going to look at Carlton Cookie Gilchrist and Jim Otto. Both of these are their rookie cards. Now, Gilchrist actually had a 1958 CFL rookie, but this is his first American football card, which would be the AFL rookie, and this is from 1963 Fleer. And then the Otto had a Fleer card as well in 61, but this is his Topps rookie. This is such a beautiful Gilchrist card with the red, white, and blue coloring. I love the pose of him too. Now, as I mentioned, Cookie played in the Canadian Football League early in his career. He was originally signed by the Cleveland Browns out of high school, but he was deemed ineligible due to his age, and then he went to the CFL. Now, he played 6 seasons in the CFL, and he was one of the league's best players. He was an exceptional athlete who played running back, but also linebacker and special teams. He was a kicker. He could punt as well, a kick returner. And in 1962, the Bills beat out the NFL's Rams to sign Gilchrist, who was 27 years old at the time, which is older for a running back. But what did Gilchrist do in his first year with the Bills? He became the AFL's first 1,000-yard rusher. And they only played 12-game seasons back then. And he had 1,096 yards. And he led the league in touchdowns with 13. Now, he would go on to win the MVP that season. And Gilchrist was 6'3", 250 pounds. And he was thought by some to be the AFL's version of Jim Brown. Now, Bills Hall of Fame offensive lineman Billy Shaw called Cookie the greatest player he ever saw, and that's including Jim Brown. Gilchrist was a fast and powerful runner. He used to run over his own linemen if they got in the way. And the fans were known to say, "Lookie, lookie, here comes Cookie." And the kids in Buffalo, they just had to be thrilled to add this card in 1963, as Cookie again led the league in touchdowns with 12. And that season, he had a then Pro Football rushing record for a single game of 243 yards against the Jets. And he also scored 5 rushing touchdowns that game. He also had 121 yards rushing in 1964 against the Chargers in the AFL championship game, as the Bills won the first of back-to-back championships. Now, Cookie had a very outspoken personality. He felt he was underpaid oftentimes, and there was also a lot of racial issues and civil rights was going on during that time. And he eventually got traded from the Bills to the Broncos in 1965, where he had one more great season. But in his 6 AFL seasons with the Bills, Broncos, and Dolphins, Gilchrist was an All-Pro 4 times and is on the AFL's all-time second team at running back. There's a photo of the back of the card. Just a beautiful card, and I picked this one up a while back. Now, the second player I want to look at today is Raiders center Jim Otto. Now, he played from 1960 to 1974, and he was a 10-time All-Pro. Now, again, this is a 61 Topps rookie card, and you can see here his legs are so far spread apart, he looks like a wishbone. Now, notice that the Raiders here, if you look at it, he has gold on his jersey there with the striping and the numbers. And early in their existence, the Raiders were gold and black and not silver and black. And that's pretty unique, in my opinion, because later on you would hear like the silver and black and all of that, but when they actually first started out, they were gold and black. And another thing to point out is that he's wearing the number 50 here. You can see it on his sleeves. He actually only wore number 50 in his rookie season, so this photo would have been taken in 1960, being it's a 1961 card. But you also see him in number 50 in the 64 and 65 Topps cards as well, and also the 61 Fleer Wallet card. So he switched over to then, so any of those cards that showed him in number 50 would have been from the 1960 season. That's when those photos would have been taken. Now, Otto, of course, was known for the double zeros. And here he is on his last Topps card from 1975, and you can see the double zeros prominently displayed on the front of his jersey there. And that's how I just remember him growing up. When you see his cards, is he always had those double zeros, and I just thought that really stood out to me anyways. And this card really just signifies what a lineman looked like. You got the neck roll there, and just he's a big burly guy, and just one of the really tough players from that era. And one of the things about him is that he was just a gamer. He played 210 straight games. It did take a toll on his body, as he had over 70 operations, including 28 on his knees, and 9 of them were during his career. And he had multiple joint replacements as well later in life. And his joints became riddled with arthritis. He had debilitating back and neck problems that he's still dealing with to this day. But during his playing days, he was just known for his great strength in moving the running game. And I just remember the images of him on the sidelines with the bloody knuckles and the dirty jersey. This guy was a football player. He was known as Buckethead due to his large helmet and the plastic nose guard that would protrude from the center of his head there, similar to what Larry Zonka had. And Otto, along with 2 others, I'm going to show their cards. Here's a Gene Upshaw rookie from 1972 Topps, or I'll say first card because he played many years before that. And then same with 73 Topps Art Shell. These are their first regularly issued cards. A little trickier in football, like I said, just because of the number of years players would play sometimes, especially on the line before they got a rookie card. But Gene Upshaw and Art Shell, along with Jim Otto, were one of the greatest left sides in NFL history, maybe the greatest. Gene Upshaw was the left guard, and then Art Shell was the left tackle, and Otto, of course, was the center. And John Madden would talk about them and just the power that left side had on those Raiders teams, and how they would often run the sweep, and they were very hard to stop. And I just wanted to show those cards as well, because I just think it captures that era late in the AFL into the 70s in the NFL until Otto retired at the end of the 74 season, and just the outstanding offensive line that the Oakland Raiders had at that time. Here's a closer view of the Gene Upshaw card, just a beautiful example of a 72 Topps, along with the back of the 61 Topps rookie of Jim Otto. You can see the back of the 72 there. And here's the Art Shell. Along with the back. Here's a view of the first 2 rows of the case that have been completed. Just really enjoying this series and how these cards are all coming together. I think it's going to make a great display when it's done. But as you can see, there's 12 of the 30. And I may even expand this series to 36 cards, because I have a 36 card case that I can put them in. But really enjoying doing this, hoping that you're enjoying it as well. Always enjoy the comments, and everybody have a great weekend.